Now I've got City Comptroller Bill Morehouse. Is that right?
Good morning, gentlemen.
Morning, Bill. How
Good
are
morning.
Good. How am I sounding, okay?
you? Yeah, you sound good. Are you snowblowing right now?
No, I'm getting ready to, though, but I just had you on the intercom. So, but, if Howie's going to run for president, Trump needs to give him a nickname, so I'm going to help Trump out. Wackadoodle. Howie Wackadoodle.
There needs to be more
save the world.
alliteration. I think it's got to be a little bit more alliteration, but with the H's, it's hard.
Oh, my God. Just ridiculousness.
For some reason, I don't know why. Maybe I'm just incredibly naive sometimes. I just thought that he would maybe bring a little common sense to the table. When we have him in studio, when he's running for governor, he does talk about things, and in my opinion, he makes some good sense on some things. But this
it almost sounded, Jeff, like he hadn't even read through the thing yet. So
yeah, right. He's just familiar with the title, right? And he's supporting the green.
Or you could argue he's saying that he, was talking about this for years. I mean, this guy may have written this thing for all we know. I mean, he's a member of the Green Party, He
but maybe,
lives and breathes
maybe
this stuff.
AOC is not just a 29-year-old former bartender. Maybe she's a genius because she's using Trump's ploy. You start really high, and then you try to get something at the end. So maybe she's a genius.
Maybe she is, but I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so. The world changes. The climate changes. The Earth has been here for 1 billion years. New York was underwater at one point. I mean, give me a break. Our little blip of a couple hundred years on this Earth, obviously we affect the climate. But the world's not coming to an end. The reason we have capitalism, the reason it works is because we figure these things out, and we sure don't need the green plan, that's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Bill, we had you come on today because I wanted your thoughts on equalization rates, and I think you can explain a bit to me why this changes, and in particular, why in the city of Utica.
Yeah, it's just, I understand where the county executive is coming from. We haven't raised property taxes, but they raised themselves. And they do it through the equalization rate and through the amount we contribute to MVCC and how the state mandates that. But what the equalization rate is, it's the LOA, they call it, the level of assessment. And any taxable jurisdiction has an assessment level. Some of them are close to market value or are market value. There's a few that are maybe even over market value. But most of them are substantially under market value. And what the state does is takes all these taxable jurisdictions, they look at their LOA, their level of assessment, and then they base it against market value. They throw it into their little calculator and spin things around, and they come up with what the tax rate increase or level of assessment should go down. So just to try to make it simple, like 2-3 years ago, Utica was at 72%. That means that if you have an assessment on your house, that's 72% of what market value actually should be.
Okay.
So if your house is worth $100,000, it's assessed at $72,000. Well, last year that went down to 68. This year it's gone to 67.5. Well, every year that our assessment goes down lower than the market value, our taxes go up because they want to equalize all the taxable jurisdictions so everybody has a fair tax versus market value. And that allows the county to say, we're not raising property taxes, although they're getting more revenue because Utica went up almost 8%, New Hartford went up 5%, Rome went up 7%, I believe 6 or 7%. So, if you live in the town of Ava, I think you went down, your taxes went down. But those have to be the main revenue generators for the county, those three that I just mentioned. And so they are generating more revenue. And then you have for Utica, we have the Mohawk Valley Community College thing where we pay for our, the Utica residents that go to MVCC. So our taxes go up. And it's just, when I hear the county executive say, 6 years in a row, our property taxes haven't gone up. Well, 3 out of those 6 years, my taxes have gone up. And mine went up $150 this year. And if you live in New Hartford, yours went up 5%. Utica, 7%. Rome, 7%. So, I understand what he's saying, but it's just a little disingenuous. And we need to revail, and that's the whole thing. And I've been telling everybody this, the council and the mayor, but a revail, which is a revaluation to get our assessment to the right level, is about $1.7 million right now. And as you can imagine, nobody wants to spend that kind of money. The last time we did a revail was 1997, and it was state mandated. Yeah. And that's what will happen again. What will happen is somebody will sue because they'll say my assessment is improper, and then the state will come in and mandate that we do a revaluation. And, we'll have to do that. And actually, the city of Utica right now, we're almost at our taxable limit because what happens is the state allows you to tax X amount based on assessments, and there's a cap on that, and we're almost at the cap. So we are going to be forced to do a reval, or we will not be able to tax the people anymore. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe the people don't want to reval, and we can never raise taxes.
But the taxes are going up. Well, I mean, basically what you explained, even without the reval, the taxes keep going up more.
Yeah, but if we do a reval, then the assessments will be close to 100%.
Right.
So then you won't have this equalization rate. And what happens when we reval? A third of the people's taxes go up. Those people, like there's houses on Proctor Boulevard that are worth $200,000 that are assessed at 92 or 80, and there's houses in maybe West Utica that are assessed at $50,000 that are worth 10. So a third of the taxes will go up, a third will go down, and a third will stay the same. And we really need to do it because there's some businesses, and I don't want to get business owners mad in downtown Utica, but there's businesses that are way undervalued as far as their taxes on their buildings and stuff, and we need to equalize this stuff. South Utica, North Utica, those are the places that are going to take a hit because those are the places where the houses are worth more, and they're way underassessed. So we need to equal it out. Now, the tax rate is $27 per thousand right now.
Uh-huh.
Once we equal this out, that tax rate will come way down. The tax rate will come down to probably $11, $12 per thousand because we'll be assessed at 100%. And we have to do it, but it's very expensive.
Is it only going to be kind of hard the 1 year that they do the reval, and then things will kind of level off?
Yeah, they'll level off, absolutely. And that after that first year, like I say, a third of people's taxes will go up, a third will go down, and a third will stay the same.
So, but Bill, a couple things. First of all, when you talk about the county and when Tony Piceni says, I'm not raising the taxes, you're saying the county, though, does generate more revenue?
You tell me how they cannot generate more revenue when Utica goes up 7%, New Hartford goes up 5%, Rome goes.
Some are going down. Some are going down.
Yeah, you mentioned Ava. This was the second year in a row.
I gave you the chart.
Yeah, I've got it here. I'm pulling it up. I'm pulling it up right here.
I think there's 5. I don't have it in front of me. I think there's 5 municipalities that went down. And look at what those municipalities are. What is there?
I've actually got 8 here, but
people living in Ava.
Yeah, so you got Ann'sville is down 0.8%. Augusta minus 1.7%, Ava 1.07%, Boonville 0.6%. Oh my goodness, with the tax. Florence, I'm on the air right now. Florence at minus 4.99. It's basically 5%. Marcy went down basically 1%. It's 0.99. Remsen went down 1.5%. Verona went down 0.5%. But everyone else went up. You're right about that. 2%, 3%, 8%, 5%. And
the ones that went up are the largest assessed areas: Rome, Utica, New Hartford.
Right.
That's where your assessments are, especially New Hartford, Utica, Rome. Are you kidding me?
Would you have to reval the whole county?
No, and when you say the reval, part of this you attribute to the reval, which is something the city has to do, not the county. So is it disingenuous?
The county needs to do an assessment too, but they take their assessments from the municipality. So maybe we could get some help from the county in a reval. But, yeah, the individual taxing jurisdictions need to do their own assessments, revaluations, we call it.
Yeah, okay. And one of the texts I did get was from the county, and what I'm being taxed is that they do not generate more revenue from property taxes based on the valuation, that their number stays the same if they don't adjust the property tax levy. I know. Hey, Bill, I know what you're saying. My taxes went up the last 2 years. So I don't understand.
This is why I think that there is a position open for county comptroller. I'm going to be going to screen this Saturday for that position. I know that Mr. Timpano had talked about retirement and then decided not to. But I think and I was there when Tony Piceni was appointed for Joe Griffo, and I voted for Tony Piceni, and I spoke on the floor very highly of Tony Piceni. I have no problem with Tony Piceni. But I think maybe it's time to get a Democrat, somebody from the other party in there at the county to really see what's going on, to oversee this, to help the city out. There's nothing more than I want for Mayor Palmieri to be reelected again because we need to keep this strong administration going through this hospital build-up. And maybe the best spot for me right now, my wife is out of town right now in Europe, but when she gets back, she makes the decisions. She makes the decisions. So,
right.
But maybe the best spot for me is as county comptroller at this point.
Wow.
And, that's something I'll have to talk to people in my office too. But my office is running fine. And, Diana Corey in there. Mike Ciminero just left us, but Brian McCluskey. And now we have a new guy, Joe, and we've got Teresa and Nith, Pam, Carm, all of them, Stacy. They just do a great job. So I think they could move forward. And, maybe that's the best place for me right now is to get
Wow,
into
that's
the county,
interesting, Bill.
and we could balance the parties out. Tony's had control of that whole deal, and let's just balance things out here in the county of Oneida, and I can work with Tony Piceni. Like I say, I voted to appoint him as county executive. I have no problem with him, and I think that we might have a few discussions that we don't agree on, but I think we could work well together, and I think that might be the next move.
And bottom line, it's not the difference of opinion. The county either generates more money or they don't. I mean, and I don't know the answer to that. The county says they don't. You say they do. So I don't know what the answer is. But
assessments assessments have to be going down. We have to be losing businesses hand over foot.
I'm sure we're losing properties, right? Because not-for-profits, and I'm not being critical of not-for-profits,
but they don't pay
constantly
taxes.
Acquire properties.
And then
it's a constant thing.
Yeah.
If nothing else, when you do that state of the county, you should say, look, we have not raised property tax in 6 years, but if you live in Utica, New Hartford, or Rome this year, you're going to see a 7, 8, 5% tax increase on your property taxes, and that's due to this equalization rate is due. But at least be honest about it. Don't say 0%. When I hear 0%, guys,
I know.
Great.
I think the same
taxes
thing.
are not going up.
I think I'm paying the same thing that I paid last year. I totally get it.
And I know Tony can answer that, and I somewhat understand where he's coming from, but it's disingenuous to not really tell people, hey, unfortunately, we're not raising property taxes, but if you live in the city of Utica, they're going up 8%. If you live in New Hartford, they're going up 5%. If you live in Rome, I can't remember Rome, I think it's around 7%. So just be more honest with the people as far as that goes. And that's why I think we need somebody in there to balance this out. And I think I can help Mayor Palmieri through his next term by being in the county, because this hospital thing is huge for this city, and we need to see it go through well with great administration.
Bill Morehouse making a little news this morning.
Yeah, current city comptroller Bill Morehouse, go ponder your run for county comptroller as you snowblow the driveway.
I will do that, gentlemen, and I can't wait to go see my comedian friend there, Dennis Miller. My wife got me that for my birthday, but then
nice.
I bleed orange blood, and then I found out Duke Orange played the same night. But Dennis Miller's awesome.
All right, I'm telling you,
they picked a great night to do it.
Bill, thank you so much for calling in, and it was a good discussion. I don't think I know any more than I did before, but it was a good discussion.
I don't think any of us do. Have a great day, guys.
You too. That's current city comptroller Bill Morehouse, who says, based on that conversation, he wants to run for Oneida County Comptroller. We'll see what happens. We'll come back here on WIBX.